to the lady in green here, one. I'm looking for another lady so I can balance this thing. There's another lady here, lady in red. All right, so go ahead, ask your question.
The question is in twofold. One to...
Please speak up.
My question is in twofold. One to Mr. Mike and one to Mr. Kevin. My first question to Mr. Mike is there is this thing I've heard where they said police doesn't have the right to mediate in land issue. So I want to, I'm sorry I went to...
Okay, so you want to know whether police has the right to mediate in land issues?
Then my next question is, there are some times you have the necessary documents, and even when you get to police station, they will tell you that the person that gave you the person that built on the property, I've forgotten what they call it, that took possession of the property, has taken possession already, that maybe you should resolve it amicably, that you shouldn't have left your land for a while. So you understand, I've had this experience before. So they told me that I should resolve it because the person has already...
Okay, so that's your question. Should we take all the questions or we just answer them straight up?
Why don't you take all and then answer the one and first time?
Okay, all right. Okay, sir. Okay, so...
When the land belongs to Mr. A, it's only the land belongs to Mr. B, and Mr. A gives you the property. It's established the land belongs to Mr. A. That property owned by Mr. A is legal and admonished. When it's not established, please can tell this, you can go to court. Go to civil matter, if you also are fighting that no way, you don't have paper, he doesn't have paper. Please cannot charge any of you for forcible entry or material damage. Please ask you to go to court and resolve the matter.
Alright? Sir, you say that the person that took possession, you should go and settle amicably.
Well, I think that's what we'll be discussing. But number one, the police lacks the power to resolve land matters under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. The police have been banned from interfering in land matters, tenancy matters, and the rest of them. However, like South Kiras, if there is damage to property, maybe you have put your blocks there, somebody decides to remove your block or damage your fence, then, or trespass, a criminal offense may affarisi, you can be charged. But when it comes to, you have a plot of land, by the time you get there, somebody else has been put in possession. Again, your choice is to apply to the Lagos State government, go to the mediation center. If it cannot be resolved there, you go to court. That is your job. Thank you.
All right, there is another question here, but before, so I don't know whether the panel...
Purchase or subscribe to another country. For example, a person that is in Nigeria, can you purchase one of our properties in Texas, and is it possible for them?
Yeah, so the answer is yes. You can, particularly US, even Dubai now has freehold lands, but they are yours for life. So, as a Nigerian, you can buy properties in the US, even without ever visiting the US. It can even be an edge when you are now doing your visa interview to say, I had invested in a property in the US and I'm going to the US to see it. It's an edge to even position you to get a US visa. So you can invest.
Oh, sorry, But we really talk of countries where if you buy property, you invest something, $100,000 or $150,000, you acquire the citizenship of that country.
Very true, yes. So, like in the US, from $800,000, you can become a US citizen. Dubai gives golden visa if you do up to 2 million dirhams. They give you a golden visa is almost, UAE citizenship is almost impossible. But the golden visa is almost that equivalent of that because it allows you to be in the country for 10 years before you renew, and you can pass it on to your children as well.
Okay. All right. So one more question at the back there.
Okay, sorry, because I want to ask. I don't think there should be any. I know it's regulatory for fraudulent act. I wish we could contain. I would have content. But I think that there's a central part of the information that is something like that. Because everywhere is the law. It's following the God alright? So you guys shouldn't be like the propeller. But I know I can. How much is it each shot?
All right. Thank you. So I got the question. God will answer it.
But I think the first one was how much to register for the Lasrera. And she's answered.
I'm aware that because there are different kind of clients, there has to be different kind of strategies to sell properties to these clients, as well as different kinds of properties also determine different kind of strategies you use to sell. Take for instance, you want to sell a property in Korea that is about $1.8 million. I know that definitely you have to come up with a buyer's persona that is like, okay, what category of people can afford this kind of property? I want to ask, because I know you definitely have experience in this kind of sale, how would you best position that property, or what are the strategies you come up with to sell that property?
So you're talking of high-end properties. How do you position to sell?
Yes,
I think the first thing is, so if you start going to a Korean club, I can assure you, and Aliba can tell you answer this question better because he goes up to only rich people can afford to host it or have him be at the event. But you can, it's called positioning. Where do wealthy people go? And then you start going there. But the first easy one is golf. You know, you may not yet be able to afford membership of Ikoyi, but there are some moms, uncles who are already members. Ask them when they are going, and you accompany them, right? And as you go gradually, one day you will be in a position to be able to afford it. I also think there are social circles, religious circles as well. There are, even in church, you know, there are people in church, in mosques, who are well-to-do. And, you know, that is also an emotional way to penetrate them. Hello, I'm a member like you. I do this business. Even if you can't, you know, afford or you're not interested in buying, can you recommend me to your friends who can afford? One of my mentees sold over 4 billion naira worth of properties to a church member. He knew the church member was high net worth. They told him he wants to be carrying his golf bag. Right? One of those days he went with him, that one's friend came, and that one wanted to buy property. And that's how he closed a 4 billion. And he's a regular, not a wealthy guy, church member.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Just a follow-up question, sorry.
To who? Your question is
to Lagos State.
Okay, Lagos State.
So recently we saw a number of demolitions in Lagos State. And we saw people saying that they got their documents from the government office. And no matter what, their buildings are going to be demolished. What happens in the case where a Lagos State official, maybe serving or retired, was culpable at the time of giving them those documents? We don't seem to Omonile. I think that the reason why it's difficult for government to deal with Omonile is because they work hand in hand. And the government is very involved with this Omonile thing. And this is what I mean. I'm not saying the government goes to the land to buy, but we give these people different names for different purposes. When they are working for the land grabbing, we call them Omonile. But these are the same guys who used to rig elections, men during elections, so they work hand in hand with the government. So, but the case of the culpable person is the one I really.
The first question I work with Omonile concerning land matters. So, okay, yeah, I do. I'm just responding to
the question. In the case recently, we saw a number of demolitions happening in Lagos State.
Oh, demolitions?
Yes, and some of them, I don't know how true that is, but we saw it on social media.
Okay, no worry, don't say that. The question is, when you demolish the houses, the people that gave them those houses legally, that gave them the authorization, why don't you go after those people as well, so that it doesn't happen again? Now what happens is that you demolish the house because it was not properly gotten, and then the person that gave it to them legally.
Because some got building permits, some got COs.
So you're talking about the permits to develop
Staff that gives us permits, even business.
I can assure you that they don't go free. Yes, there are usually penalties on them. Some are actually relieved of their jobs. In fact, when there was a time even the GM of an agency was sacked. So Lagos State frowns on all those. And the thing is, it's not all the time that is the fault of the state government, because they would have been served notices. It's not that when Lagos State demolishes that they have papers. A lot of times they don't have planning permits, and they would have been served notices. And the unfortunate thing is that when these notices are being served, the public does not hear. It is when demolitions happen.
And you will also need to make integrity your watchword. And then, of course, our own environment is a bit hostile to real estate development. From what we have gathered here today, the government is not helpful. So we must also join the movement to get the government to control more in terms of prices of building materials, in terms of registration of title documents, and in terms of reducing the cost of registering and processing documentation. And there is no country can develop very seriously without land documentation. As I did say, 94% of properties in Lagos State are not registered. And that is very sad for the country. You can imagine, with all the enlightenment in Lagos and with all the efforts of the government, that about 94% of properties are not registered. So you can imagine what happens elsewhere. So it's an area that young people, young men and women will have to do more. And it's a very versatile area. You know, the world, the sky is the limit. If you can get it right. Development of properties all over the world, you know, it's a very lucrative area. But you need to get it right.
Okay, sir.
You need to have your contacts, you need to make your contacts, you need to...
Thank for your prayers, I mean. But do you want to read my profile for the UK or want me to just do it myself?
Maybe you should just read the profile out to us.
Okay, then I am Sam Pongo. I'm based in London, in the UK. I am probably well known, one of the most well known persons in the UK on the real estate sector for property auctions. So I appraise properties for auctions in the UK across the United Kingdom. What I do in my firm is that we do a lot of investments in the UK for clients across the globe and locally. Just before lockdown, I used to travel to Nigeria at least every quarter because it's one of our biggest pool of buyers in the UK, in Nigeria, where we strongly encourage diversification for property developers in Nigeria. Which is where I picked up when Dr. Stephen Akintayo was talking about the why businesses must go global and diversify. That's exactly the gospel I preach, and I preach it to say for successful business people in Nigeria, it's good that they diversify to invest in the UK. So in terms of, I think that's in a nutshell, that's me. And in fact, in the UK, to be able to appraise properties for auction, you must understand all the strategies. So every single question about UK property, there's absolutely any question that I cannot answer on UK property industry. And I'm that confident that there's nothing that I cannot answer if you need an answer for. However,
all right, I apologize. I'm going to have to rephrase the question. Because now that when they gave you a brother one, I was thinking, okay, we can think Africa. Let's just stay in the UK. A lot of people know that in the UK, most of the properties are not private owned. They are government owned. Their mortgage system is working, and that's what they've been operating. So how is that line when it comes to investment? Because a lot of people in Nigeria probably might not know how that system works and how they can, plug into the UK market when it comes to real estate.
Okay, right. So that's a fantastic question. The real estate market in the UK, it's one that I would approach with a preamble saying the UK is not London. Why I want to come to that, why I want to say that is that when people think of the UK, they think about £2 million, £4 million properties because that's all they see being advertised in London. However, the UK is a very
and you will have an opportunity. So in case you don't win what they're about to give, in case you don't win, you still qualify. We're going to be giving right to over 60 people all through December. Are you happy to know that?
Wow, that is massive.
Yes. So if you don't win what they have, don't worry. Just make sure you take a video with that Rolls Royce outside, and you can either talk on the benefits of buying land or benefit of buying houses, but you must end it with a caption. So if you are pushing the land, remember our subsidiary for land is called Gtext Land. So end it with Gtext Land is the Rolls Royce of land banking. Does that make sense at all? If it's a video on why you should have a house, why you should buy a house, you can end it with Gtext Homes is the Rolls Royce of what? Housing. Does that make sense at all? And we will select 2 people every day starting from 26th of November. We're selecting 2 people every day who will qualify for a free ride. Our driver will come to your place of work if you are the evening, and drive you home.
Dr. Stephen, please. There are some areas like Ikorodu.
Don't worry, we got you covered. Right? We have a Mopo.
Put your hands together, Doctor.
There's a Hilux with mobile policemen with AK-47 who will guide you, bring you home. So some people is to take you from your home to work. Some people is to take you from work to home. Guess what again? Some of you in the car might find Lolo taking the ride with you. For some, it's Alibaba taking the ride with you. Right? True story. I'm interviewing you and we're recording it. Will be, how many of you have seen my show, Investment Chat in a Rolls Royce? Right? So it will be your own version with a celebrity driving you home, asking you questions, and we having to discover, so make sure you go about this is big. Who agree this is big? Right? So do your video before you leave and make sure it has enough engagement, because we are going to be picking those who have enough comments, enough views, and make sure you tag them. They will tell you what to tag, the hashtag, and the accounts to follow. Who is interested?
Put your hands together. Thank you very much, Nico. When it lands. All right, I'm going to leave them to do some little thing, then I'll come right back to get into the next session very quickly.
I think people are so happy right now. Lots of good things inside Afro pigs, like 3 villages inside. For them, we use advanced technique.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. Also, I use mobile, they don't. Let's ask this. But for us as teachers, we prefer people that take a lot of action. Right? So I need 6 volunteers.
You want to know what I want to do first? They have to climb the stage. I need first 6 people. Yeah, I know.
Hey, it's okay.
It's okay.
This young man, I like your spirit. Come this way, my love. Stay this way.
This life is simple. I said I love people that think.
But there are not ladies
There are no women there.
There are no ladies here.
The administration of Gtext, I'm now the chairman, and I majorly try to motivate everyone to do their job, okay? But he's had many years from investment banking, and part of the reason why he joined Gtext is to begin to structure how we attract international funding. So one more time, celebrate him and welcome him to this panel. Mr. Adebayo, welcome. Let me start with you since you are physically here. Why, first of all, do you think that Nigerian companies, including real estate companies, haven't been able to attract funding? Because this topic is on creative, innovative funding for real estate development, right? How to finance real estate project. And since you come from that background, what do you think is first of all the problem?
Well, thank you so much for bringing me here, and good afternoon everybody. The crowd that I see here is not just about global property conference. What I'm seeing is the future of property worldwide. Monthly deduction, contribute another part of it, and remit it on a monthly basis to the Federal Mortgage Bank. And you know the funny thing? I think it's now been upgraded to up to 30 million naira, and with that of your spouse, the same 30 million naira, you can access up to 60 million naira, and expected year of retirement is age of 60. So by the time you're 60 years, that is the period with which you are expected to pay back this amount of money. But that's the problem that we've got here. Many of us, as they always say, when you want to hide the secret from a black man, just write it down, because he's not going to read. How many have ever amongst you here have never thought of, instead of being on, it's good to be on IG, it's good to be a social media lover, but how many of you had thought of checking on your Google, how can I access funds? There are so many opportunities, believe me. Yes, funding is expensive right now, but not that it is not available. It is available. It is expensive. That is another topic on its own.
But some people will argue that 60 million naira can barely buy any house. Am I correct? Particularly considering the inflation, right? 60 million naira can't buy. I'm not sure we have 60 million naira houses in right locations in Lagos. I mean, let's speak for Lagos.
Okay.
Right? So people will argue that.
If you say Lagos, Abule Egba is still part of Lagos. Akute is still part of Lagos. And you know what? When we can have the right population in these locations, they become the right environment, the right community. Because when you talk of building a home, it's not just about the house. There will be schools, there will be a lot of other economic activities that will be sustained for the people in that neighborhood to live there. There will be hospitals, there will be recreational facilities as well. So you just find out that even with this small amount of 60 million naira, you can still get something affordable for you and your family and be at peace with yourself.
Okay. Funding for construction.
Thank you, Dr. Akitayo. Actually, when it comes to funding, let me, before I come to your question, there is no one-size-that-fits-all formula. All the fundamentals of financing globally are similar, but if you look at the Nigerian market, with my limited exposure, the country which is battling with inflation, where the lending rates are in the region of 30%, I can understand the mortgage against the houses. It's not that very attractive, and for a common person, I think it's all over the third world country. It's not easy for a common
person. With knowledge. And I think Mr. Fenfela mentioned, I don't know whether it was when he was doing the interview with the newspapers or something, but it's important to get partner with existing companies, right? Like us who are willing to teach. You know, it's not all developers who want to teach their secret. You know, some hide it, right? But look for those who are willing to teach, and so you can learn. That's even part of why we have next weekend, Saturday, Sunday, we call it the Real Estate Investors Masterclass. It's for developers, upcoming developers like you, and even existing ones who are having challenges, where we can say, these are the strategies, how to go about things. Because all of what we are trying to do is also to sanitize the system. Right now, there's just too much chaos, and it's part of why we brought all these kind of speakers to come and address issues, to at least begin to help give some confidence about what are the ways out. But in your case, you need a lawyer who will help whatever agreement you have with your money, put it in a document and everybody sign. And that agreement will be that I will deposit 5 million now and I'll pay the remaining, is it 45? So the land is 55. Oh, the land is 20. So you deposit 5 million now, and then you spread the remaining 15 for 1 year. But it has to be documented, and the main owners, the head of family, you must make sure all of them, their signature is there or their thumbprint. Usually they normally connive, one of them will not sign. So that later the one of them will start his own group, and then they will come back and say, so you must study the real title, know exactly the history of that land, and who are the key people who actually are supposed to be the owners of that land. It's very important. And once you study that, and make sure they all sign, and you too don't default on that, how you intend to pay the 15 million.
Like a technological solution in the property management and marketing space. So I'd like to ask, I actually have two questions. So I'd like to ask, what's your advice for someone looking to bridge the gap between traditional real estate practices and modern tech-driven solutions? So basically how we can properly integrate tech into real estate, and is this even something that's feasible? And secondly, how can a young professional like I in real estate to build a strong network and credibility, especially when starting with limited experience? Because I believe that when it comes to closing a network individuals, it's all about who you know, usually in real estate, and how you can properly sell to them. So what's your advice for someone looking to build their network and basically build their credibility? Thank you so much.
So I'm not sure I got your first question. Integrating tech with real estate is your first question.
Yeah, it's what's your advice on that? Is it something that's feasible, something that's possible, or is it even really needed in this town?
I mean, we're something called prop tech. Just work hard to be sure that whatever solution you are coming up with creates, you've done your research to be sure that it's user friendly. The users like it, and you can do a survey just to kind of have an idea. How to build your network, I think I answered, there's a lady who asked that question earlier. Where do rich people go? Go there. Golf courses, there are clubs that are extremely expensive, even if you don't drink. Right? Partner with the club owner for database of those customers. If you have a little token, let them give you 5 minutes to introduce yourself and say, hey, do you know, real estate is a good, I'm not asking you not to come to club, but a little portion can be put towards property. But just do your map. Car companies, those who sell cars, partner with them and say, you know what, connect me with your clients who are buying heavy cars, right?
and my 10% commission, we share 50-50. You can go further in this sector if you are willing to partner. If you are selfish and you want to eat all the money alone, you won't go far, right? But be willing to partner with people, be willing to share your commission, to share the money, whatever it is, and you will see that people will be willing to go a long way with you. The third one is also be part of organizations that open doors for you, right? There are people who have, by the virtue of being in Gtext, they've been able to connect with high net worth people. And when they left, they're able to start their company and they're doing well. Right? So there are times where I see everybody wanting to be CEO. The lady I showed earlier, Jessica is here, you can stand up. In 18 months, this lady moved from being jobless to not only making millions, but having 18 months. Right? She joined our internship program. We have an internship program. We don't pay you for 6 months, but if you sell, you get commission. And why don't we pay you? We cannot be teaching you and be paying you at the same time. You should be paying us. Do you agree with me? So we then say, fine, we don't pay you, but you don't pay us as well. But come learn, right? And in 18 months, turn our life around.
Best way is to mentor them to us.
How do you ensure long-time profitability to your property for
Well, for us, it's making sure that the property we're investing in is the right location, and we say location, when it comes to real estate, right? Also making sure we add value to real estate, to the property that we do. Add fence, good security, add development, some places we're using the golf course. So making sure we're adding value to the land is also important. Plenty challenge, money challenge, government challenge, finance challenge, employee challenge, a lot of challenges.
Has there ever been any that you got a land, then another person came that
We sold but we've had situations where we own land and then another party comes and claims that those who sold to us are not the right people to sell it to us. We've had a lot of those experiences.
What was the solution?
Sometimes we have to pay again to the second party. Yeah, that's part of the challenge of the real estate sector, where you have to buy for 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And as much as you hear stories of, oh, there's a government department against land grabbing, unfortunately, because some of those land grabbers are smart, they join politics, they're party members, they help mobilize the election. So it's difficult, exactly, it's difficult for
what we have is enough for our need, but can never be enough because of our greed. I wonder who's gonna sing our dreams, cause they pretend not to hear our screams. Wow, 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 see the children crying. Wow, 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 hear the mothers wailing. All the killings and the bombings. Hey, yeah, what a pity.
polo club that we need to do here. Because let's be honest, the funding for real estate the way it should be done is not in Nigeria. Right? The banks are not helping, and also the inflation, the ratio is not helping. But if you have funds in USD and you bring it in, your own funds, and you start to put up the picture. I don't know if you saw the picture. In Ikorodu, and my staff gave away the look. You know, the picture showed how we were looking at me in our first estate. It was this swampy land, and they were just looking at me like this guy must be crazy. And I can't blame them because we had done so well in digital marketing. A lot of people still don't know that we're one of the pioneers of digital marketing in Nigeria. At some point, we had the largest email database, phone number database, helping companies, different people handle, campaigns and all of that. 2015, we handled the entire Google Jonathan presidential campaign in terms of SMS. Buhari email campaign, we handled the entire thing. So digital marketing was the foundation, and we did so well. So the same 2015, when we were all over, was when I then said, let's start real estate. And then took them to one bush with waterlogged land. I don't know if you saw that picture when they were looking at me like, this guy must be crazy, out of his mind. But 9 years later, see what the Lord has done. Come and celebrate God for helping us to
If you go, I have asked us in the morning. Start now, start. You can start my brother too much of my branding. What's happening now? Start now. They are not waiting for every flight. When the daily flight is 4:15, you run there at 2 o'clock. You will not eat like 6 p.m. Anyway, Nigeria will change very soon.